It is a really special Friday morning here because, and I'm sorry, but the tears are already flowing. Al Roker is back.
Yes! Come on!
There he is. Oh, Al, to say we have missed you doesn't even begin to describe it. There's nothing without you here.
I mean, the crew is weepy. The crowd outside has been waiting for you. They've been bummed every day we've walked out there. They're like, where is Al?
I have missed you guys so very much. You are my second family, and it's just great to be back and wearing pants.
Al Roker's back. After the beloved weatherman has been notably absent from the Today Show for over 2 months, he finally made his return to Studio 1A on Friday. The 68-year-old meteorologist was first admitted to the hospital in November for blood clots in his legs, and then readmitted earlier in December due to complications. Later on in the show, the whole Today cast sat down with Al and his wife, ABC News anchor Deborah Roberts, and they reflected on the journey to recovery.
Well, look, I had 2 complicating things. I had blood clots that they think came up after I had COVID in September. And then, I had this internal bleeding going on. I lost half my blood. And they were trying to figure out where it was. And finally, they went in, did this surgery, and it ended up 2 bleeding ulcers. Had to resection the colon, take out my gallbladder, redo my duodenum. I went in for 1 operation. I got 4 free. so I got that going for me. So that
One-stop shopping.
I had to say, you look great in Nick's suit today. But you went home the first time for Thanksgiving. Things didn't work out. You ended up back in the hospital. When you went home this most recent time, how sort of gun-shy were you that it was time to go home, that you were going to be okay, that you wouldn't go back to the hospitals, number one? And then when did you know that today was the day to come back?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I felt ready to come back on the 3rd, but there's some stuff. I said to our executive producer, Tom Ashwell, I think in the 3rd. He goes, that didn't work for me.
And I was just like, no.
Friday. Okay, all right, fine.
It's good.
It's good. So anyway, I just knew because these doctors, Dr. Felice Sussman and Jay Roman and Dr. Pastore and my surgeon Anthony Pagazzi, all these doctors, I knew they had my back, and the nurses and the staff and I'd never been in a medical ICU, let alone a surgical ICU. They were fantastic, and all the nurses and folks on the 14th floor at New York Presbyterian, just world class. I'm blessed. I have great health care, but I had this woman next to me.
Yes, you did.
And taking care of me and my family and this family here.
Al and Deborah spoke candidly about the challenges they faced, but the love and support from the world made everything so much easier.
And you also had prayer.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, there was a prayer circle like you wouldn't believe. Not only from you, my colleagues, our family, friends, perfect strangers. I was walking down the street anytime I was going someplace. I'm praying for your husband. I'm praying for your husband.
Yes.
Just trying to discreetly go shopping one day. Some woman taps me on the shoulder. I'm praying for your husband. The amount of goodwill toward you, I will never, ever, ever forget, and never, ever, ever take for granted.
You know what's funny? After something big like this, sometimes you have a life lesson where something changes within you. Did anything change within either of you? Is there something that you came away with this thinking, wow, okay, we get this second chance here?
I think for me, the awe of you and your strength. Al didn't like being vulnerable and being weak in his mind. Through that weakness and that vulnerability, he showed strength. And I will never, ever forget that example. And I think also, too, patience. I've never been good at patience. I'm ready to get on with it. We all work in television. I have learned the power of patience, and we both have to go with that.
I think the idea of family, and from starting with Deborah and just everybody and you guys, that makes the difference.
Even though Al, who has worked at the NBC morning show since the 1990s, faced many challenges over the past couple months, he was sure to share the good too with his Today Show family.
Well, my heart is just bursting. I'm just so thrilled to see all of you and all the crew and everybody. And just, right now I'm running on adrenaline. So I'm just thrilled to be here.
When we went to see him, when all of us went, we were all just kind of struck by what we saw. And you said there was a moment where he said something to you, and you knew he was going to be okay.
After fighting through all of this, and it's up to you how much you want to share, but Al went through a lot of tests, a lot of scopes. I mean, there was just so much that had to be done, and a surgery, if you don't mind my saying.
Sure.
A major, major surgery. And we were just on pins and needles every day, and I kept everybody abreast, our family, you all. And Al and I were sitting there one day in the hospital. I wish it were a hotel.
Yeah.
In the hospital, and through this very scratchy voice, and he was so gaunt and exhausted. He said, "I'm going to make a spatchcock turkey for Christmas."
There it is.
And I didn't know whether to burst into tears or just to beam. I mean, that was the moment for me, and it will always be the moment for me where I knew this man. I mean, I'm sitting here hoping he's going to make it to Christmas, and he wants to make a turkey.